Hey, and welcome back to Lang Speed and Cycle. It is part 3 of the Farm Find Nova budget restoration and putting it up for sale to see what we can get for it. In this video, we're going to go through doing some exhaust work, getting the paint ready, and seeing if I can get the speedometer working on the car. For some reason, that's really important to me to get that done. To a lot of people, it's really not a big deal with all the technology we have these days, but I give it a shot. And it's going to be kind of fun to see the process to find out actually what happened and go from there with that. Unfortunately, I did lose one of my memory cards for the GoPro, so I lost quite a bit of footage. So I'll walk you through some of the things that I found throughout the video, and then at the end I'll give you kind of the whole finale on what happened with the car. It's a really cool story with my first old car flip, and really a great start to a dream of mine. So stay tuned with what's going on in the video. Thanks so much for watching. Let's get started. Tonight we're going to be working on the speedometer cable because the speedometer doesn't work at all. And I really want to figure out what the heck is going on with that, and I feel like it's on the transmission side, so let's get underneath the car. I'm going to degrease it and clean it up and pull the speedometer cable out, and hopefully the gear or something in there is misaligned or something so that we can... Why don't we get underneath the car and start getting to work down there. So here's pretty much the perfect picture. This gear is completely gone inside the transmission, so there's our issue. Now I need to decide if it's worth pulling off the tail shaft housing, which starts here. It's just a few bolts. You've got to pull the drive shaft and then this housing, and then you might as well do the output shaft seal bolt, or seal, output shaft seal. But there is our culprit. That gear is broken. So now we decide if it's worth tearing into that after we already removed the old radio, found out the radio's bad. Got new tires on it, new wheels, got the column rebuilt as best as I can, still got a little play. And the wiper motor doesn't work. Pretty sure the wiper motor is just bad. What else? And I haven't driven it since I've owned it. So that's kind of where we're at. So we got the camera inside the transmission right now, and see that blue thing? There's our gear. It's in there. So now is the test. Can we fish it back on the output shaft and get it meshed with the gear on the cable? Got to get a new battery and a new memory card in the GoPro though first. Nice. Now will this housing come off is the real question. But it's never been off before. And if I can get at the gear. And if it's bad. Oh, popped right off. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's awesome. Look at this. There's your gear. Just slid forward, and here's your clip. Huh. Just slid forward. So, now, can I get that gear back? Nice! Came off nice and smooth. O-ring, it doesn't look damaged. I gotta figure out how to get that freaking thing back. Well, this is interesting. Is it the same thing? Okay, it is. Doesn't look damaged. But this one is this one's the GM genuine one. I don't know what this is. But let's get this thing back in its happy place. Okay, so I assumed correctly this hole at the bottom of the output shaft or tail shaft is where this spring clip needs to rest. So it's gonna look like this. That's how it should look, or like this at the front of the transmission. So we're gonna need to rotate that gear around and somehow get it in the back and then get this clip through it. Well, this gear can only go on one way. Please don't break it, Bernard. You brute. Okay. So what we're gonna do, try and get the clip in this way. See if that works. That doesn't seem to want to go. Dirt. Come on, baby. There we go. Dirt in the eyes. So there's your speedometer gear. And this clip needs to go like this, I believe. So front of transmission, gear side, clip. So let's try and get it back on there. Oh. And then we will be good to go. God dang. Okay. Clip. Gear. Man, this is not easy. I wonder if it would be easier to do it that way. I bet it is. So, oh, I dropped it right in the muck. Perfect. So we'll get this thing nice and lubed up. Let's get some good lube. Lube is good for transmission parts. Transmission fluid is good for like cleaning things or keeping things clean, but it's just not the same. It's good old grease. And a little bit of grease ain't gonna hurt anything. So we got a clip here. Need it right here. Got our speedometer gear. Like that. Almost. Yes. Almost there. Come on. Oh, it's on. Yes. That is freaking sick. Nice. All those O-rings toast. It's fine. Yes. That is awesome. Dang, this O-ring is toast. Speedo gear is on. Yes. So I'm going to clean this up. Put a little bead of silicone in there and call it good. Get that bottom edge. There we go. Clean this out. I do need to swap that rear seal. So why don't we just take this into the garage? Take that into the garage and pop that seal out. Get the new one in there. Alright, so we got our O-ring surface cleaned up. Got a decent amount of dirt in the housing. Get the O-ring kind of back into its happy place. Let's get this on here. Go to your home. You can't tell, it's way past beer o'clock. It's more like beer 30. There we go. This will solve our transmission leak, hopefully, and our speedometer issue, hopefully. Sometimes it's the little things. Right spot. Oh yeah. We got Speedo gear now. There we go. There we go. Got to make sure that that cable threads in there nice and easy. And the retainer, same thing. And it threads on nice and easy. Perfect. Now we got to get the drive shaft back in. It's going to be super fun. And take it for a spin. We'll get right back to you. So this is one thing that kind of sketches me out about our new neighborhood. It's so quiet. It's so quiet. Released the Panther. Name that movie. Alright, let's see what happens. Don't hit anything. Don't run over screwdrivers. Did we fix it? What the heck? Oh! Come on, baby. What? Come on, man. Are you serious? I can hear something spinning in there. Now I wonder if it's unhooked behind the dash. Wow. I bet it is. Hear that? That's a new noise. Nice. Yes, Bernie. I am serious. So what happened is we got the speedometer gear fixed. The cable works. And I actually ripped apart the dash that night at like midnight and found that I got the cable spinning. I actually ran a drill with like a vice grip on it to run the speedometer gear to spin it. And there was some sort of bad connection at the dash, so the dash needed to be repaired, and at that point I had to call it. There was no sense in trying to fix that issue because instrument clusters for that generation of X body or Nova are hard to come by, and putting a aftermarket speedometer in the car is just not in the cards, so ended up just having to leave it that way, and you know, it is what it is. I tried, but it's not the end of the world, so let's get back to the video. And this stuff is amazing. Watched a YouTube video on it, a guy who wraps cars used it. $2 from the hardware store for these, and look at that, scrapes it right off, and then I'll be able to just you know, get the rest off with some Goo Gone or a rag and then just buff it out. But I mean, paint is pretty clean on this thing. I really need to wash it. We finally got some decent weather, but yeah, let's see if I can. So with that adhesive remover and a trim stick, I was able to peel a lot of that trim off, and now I started actually buffing the rust spots out of the paint. As you can see, it's kind of transitioning from rust spots to minor little specks in the paint, and it's really cleaning up nicely. I did go through a lot of different trial and error points with polishes and stuff, and even wet sanding, and trying to get those rust spots cleaned up. I actually got the car really ready to get washed up, but I had to get this exhaust done. It was really important, so why don't we clip back to the exhaust work. Alright, my plan for the exhaust, since if you didn't know, the muffler is completely blown to pieces. Yeah, it's not good. So instead of getting a new exhaust, I'm gonna go the cheap route and get a flex pipe from here to there, and we'll just chop it and run with it. Let's get the Sawzall out. Well, went and got my new muffler. Should work really well. It's a high flow version. Let's piece this thing together, I guess. A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of pinching. It's fine. It's not as bad as it looks. Got exhaust. Doesn't bang around. Maybe I can squeeze that and open it up a little bit, but there we go. Muffler fix. Thing is loud. Go get it washed up. So I'm like, what the heck is causing this thing to idle so high? Didn't even leave the driveway, and the thing's idling up a ton, and somehow this vacuum hose was not attached, and somehow this just like came out of the carburetor. Okay. Like, how does that even happen? How does it just come out of the carburetor? It just pulled out. Project cars. You know, cars like the Buick, that car actually acts like it wants to be driven, and I'm not driving it. What the heck? And you got a car like this, where you put a bunch of time into it and it doesn't want to leave your driveway. It's like, hey man, I think you're starting to see the writing on the wall here, and maybe you don't like it, but it's just the way it is. So somehow that just pulled out of the carburetor, which makes no sense. How does that even happen? Ugh. So we give it a couple safety taps, I guess. See, what you're gonna want to do is tap it so hard it breaks off. See that noise? Hear that difference? Ain't going in any further than that. It just slips right on. I don't like any of this. It's like covered in soot and goop. Just wanted to get a car wash. That's all I wanted. And the no-go is like, no. Brand new alternator. There we go. Now let's see what it sounds like. I don't even need this thing. This is going bye-bye. here. Well, off to the car wash again. I think I have my receipt. See what happens. So, as it turns out, all of the lug nuts were really loose, and I decided to get some change and go to the do-it-yourself car wash because, you know, it's further away and I don't have insurance and the car isn't registered in my name, so yeah, why not? So, let's get the show on the road. Now we're outside the scratch and spray wash. Hi. Get my window up. Well, I already know the windshield leaks. This should be interesting. Wow, why does this brand new car wash look 100 years old? That door sounds open. I'm just gonna shut it off. I'm so sketched out right now. I'm like totally expecting to get wet. Or it's gonna like break a mirror off. This has to be like top 5 worst car washes I've been in, so perfect. It's gonna get less soap and more rubber on the car, knock down that grit, maybe get the trim off a little bit. Wow, it's so clean. Now the violent one. Please don't rip off the hood ornament. I'm afraid. Doesn't even graze the trunk, maybe a little bit. Somehow my windshield got a crack in it. How does that even happen? Getting a car wash, crack the windshield? How's that even happen? Jeez. Just violence. Look at how disgusting that is. Perfect for this car. The Concours. Oh, it's waxing it now. It's waxing it. Perfect. I haven't gotten wet this whole car wash, so I'm chalking it up as a win. Even though it's still blowing stuff out of the car. It'll be really interesting when this thing dries off what it's gonna look like. or dry off. I'm not really expecting much from the blowers. Look at that fresh coat of nice wax. Look at the paint shining. Other than smelling like a litter box in North Minneapolis, not bad. Well, I guess I better start it up. How many seconds do I have? Wow. Really, intense blowers here. Oh, there's some water right in the eyes. Yep, feel a little wind coming in a little bit. Those door seals aren't brand new anymore. Let's get this old gal back home before I run out of gas. One thing I have yet to wonder about this thing, does it have any cojones? I mean, I gotta try it out sooner or later, so why don't I try it out in a 30 mile per hour zone? That sounds like a good plan. There are usually cops around here, so this is the perfect spot. Oh, a 305. At 305. Oh. Yeah, it's got all of that 130 horsepower. Maybe 85 horsepower. Let's get home. So in the end, we actually brought the Nova to the Princeton swap meet, which is a local swap meet to me. It was a crazy project that I didn't expect to actually happen the way it did. We did budget floor repairs. We did crazy radio removal where I thought the interior was going to start my garage on fire. We did mouse retrieval, headliner removal, exhaust repairs, alternator replacement, all sorts of stuff. We got new weld wheels on it. I did a short reel on that, and I was able to take it for one last ride through the country, and it really was a great send-off for the car. Selling a car online is totally different than what it used to be 10, 15 years ago, 5 years ago. And I was lucky enough to meet a really nice guy who really loves the car. He actually took it to a car show the week later after he bought it, and since then has just made it better and better. So it just made me really proud to be able to pass on a classic car to somebody else. And that's really the point of the culture, is to pass on our passion onto somebody else, and to be able to do that for somebody else was really cool. I'm looking forward to every opportunity I can take to do that and to show my friends and family, you know, that side of the car culture. It's really awesome. Thanks so much for watching. This has been a great series on a uncommon car that really is underappreciated. I hope you liked the video. I had a blast making it, and it was a blast getting that car brought back to life. And what it really comes down to, you gotta find them, fix them,
and drive them. Thanks for watching.